Can you take me back to that day when you realized that your daughter Lyra, I have that right? Okay, that Lyra needed help. Tell me what you did, what was going through your mind when you're, you know, way out at sea and this precious baby is in trouble.
Well, when she first got sick, you know, she's my second kid. Kids get sick. So when her first symptom showed up, okay, you know, kids get fevers. You know, let's not freak out. Let's just notice it. And then the next symptom comes. You know, now she's got a rash. Okay. You know, now she's lethargic. You know, now she's not acting like herself. And as these symptoms accumulated, then we had to take a look at all of the symptoms and say, it's time to call a doctor. Let's see what they had to say.
And so you called the doctor. You
Right.
used your satellite phone to call.
Yeah, we called and emailed our physician in Mexico, the physician that we had been seeing for a bit while we were there, and told him. And we said, doctor, these are the things that we have on board. This is the medication we have on board. We loaded up in advance and worked with him and two other physicians actually to build up a good ship's medical locker, right, so that we would have the things that we would think we would need. And said, these are her symptoms. You know, this is what she has. This is what we have. What can we do? And he gave us a treatment, and he said, this is what you need to do. And we followed that for the first, I think it was two or 3 days after we talked to him. We were going through that.
Okay, so then, but you hit a turning point.
Right. On April 3rd was when we realized that at that point, and you know, I think for most parents that have given their children antibiotics, you're used to seeing a rather quick recovery. You're used to seeing it within 12, certainly 24, not really later than 48 hours. So we started noticing that there was really no improvement. And at that point, I decided I wanted to call the U.S. Coast Guard. So we called the Eastern Pacific Search and Rescue Coordination Center with the Coast Guard and advised them and said, this is what's going on. These are the symptoms she has. You know, what should we do? And at that point, the Coast Guard said, we'll call you back in about a half an hour. Keep your satellite phone on. And we're going to get one of our Coast Guard physicians to consult with you. And we said, okay. So we left the phone on in the cockpit, and I think we went down to, you know, make breakfast for the kids or, you know, whatever was going on that exact time, and, you know, waiting for the phone call.
And you didn't get a phone call?
No. We walked back. I walked back into the cockpit about 25 minutes later because I was a little antsy, you know, go figure, and saw that there was a SIM card error on the phone. So I turned the phone off, turned it on, did all the things you would expect to do. Took it out, kind of clean it with vinegar, clean it with alcohol, everything I could ever think to do to fix a SIM card.
Right, I remember I said, look, what about the phone call? And he said,
yeah,
it says SIM card error on it. And you know, we have electronics. Some things happen. You restart your computer. So at first it didn't occur to me that this was a problem. I just said, well, you know, take the battery out. I don't know how a phone works, but I didn't realize how serious this issue was.
Yeah. So we you know, I kept going with it. Then I tried, well, maybe that there'll be some emergency numbers that will work. You know, I'll try 911. I'll try star 911. I'll try star this, star that. So I spent about another half an hour trying to go through the emergency protocols for it. We really looked at it, and then at that point, when I realized that our phone we were no longer able to talk to our doctor or the Coast Guard's doctor, and our daughter wasn't getting any better based on the treatment that was given to us, we now were in a really dangerous spot.
And I'm sensing that your blood pressure is probably starting to rise at this point. I mean, are you starting to panic a little bit?
Well, you're sitting here, and there's not much else. What else can you do? You know, she's got to get help, and we have no way to communicate now.
Yeah, I think
we had one last option, which was to hit the EPIRB.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, for better or for worse, as a commercial captain, you go through a lot of training on having an order of operations to go to when things go bad. You know, you do this, then you do that, then you do this, then you do that. There's layers that you go through. But when you get past a certain layer and you're actually looking at your no-kidding search and rescue beacon, you've gone. You know, we've left the land of this is an adventurous trip with the family, and we've gotten into this is life and death now. So at that point, when when I knew that the only way that we had left to communicate with the Coast Guard was to send them a search and rescue beacon ping, for lack of a better word, it was obviously very stressful, but at the same time, you know, it was time to do what needed to get done, and
but it's
and
never
execute on
something.
it.
It's never something you're prepared for. I mean, he's the one that said to me, and he was the captain. He had his captain's log in his hand as he's standing there saying, you know, just looking at this. You know, we've got to hit the EPIRB, and that's sailor speak for that's it, game over.
Yeah.
The boat is bye-bye.
Trip's gone, boat's gone, everything's gone.
Right. You know, and it's not like we thought about it. Our daughter was sick.
Yeah.
If this is our only option, then
Yeah. You know, on the one hand, it was our home, and it was our home for years, and it's where we raised our family. But on the other hand, it's just a boat, and you have to I mean, you don't even have to say that you have to prioritize your family over a boat. That's a ridiculous thing to even say. So on the one hand, it's hard to do, but if you put it in context, it's not a hard decision to make at all.